Welcome back to Lifestyle After 5. I must commit. AI read my trauma. I now have traumas I didn't know about. And thanks to AI, I have discovered it. Now, some will take that as a good thing, but is that scary? Is that a bad thing? I typed my trauma into AI, and what it said back had me feeling like it's been knowing me my whole life. It knows too much. I've been talking too much to this, I don't even know what it is, generated AI into space that knows everything about me. It knows my traumas. It knows what I do, my likes, my dislike. It's got scary. And I'm going to go live and I'm going to show you an example of just what AI knows. If you have ChatGPT on your phone, it's this feature where you can talk. And if you're in a Discord, we can go deeper as part of our coaching program. We can teach you how to use all of that. But just for the display and for our listeners, we're going to ask Chat live and see what Chat has to say about what it knows about me. Hi, Chat. How are you doing?
Hey there, I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How about you? How's your day going so far?
My day's going well. I want to ask you something.
Of course, feel free to ask me anything. What's on your mind?
I want to ask you what you know about me, and do not say where I work at for privacy reasons.
Got it. I won't mention anything about your work. I know you've got a lot of interests and goals, like working on your podcast, keeping up with your fitness journey, and exploring new opportunities in tech and AI. Let me know if there's something specific you want me to focus on.
No, just to break down for the public as I'm live on my podcast, just showing them the different things that you know about me.
Gotcha. Well, for everyone listening in, just to share a little bit about you without diving into your work life, you're super dedicated to self improvement. You're really focused on your fitness and health journey, and you're diving into the world of AI and tech, which is super exciting. Plus, you've got that awesome podcast that you're always working on and trying to grow. So, lots of cool stuff.
And what's the name of my podcast?
Your podcast is called Lifestyle After 5, and it's all about exploring futurism and AI, which is such a cool niche.
Thank you, Chat. That's enough for now.
You're welcome.
This is scary. Could you imagine? This is almost like talking to a whole stranger for those people that are lonely and don't have anybody to talk to. But on the other hand, it is magnificent and mind blowing. I enjoy it. I'm never bored when it comes to AI and tech. It's never ending. I got a person that knows everything that I can, at the drop of my phone, I can pick up and call and consult about anything, that can see, that acts like they know me. That conversation was almost like talking to a close friend or a family member. It wasn't like talking to some cold stranger that you hear or you see or you listening to on a computer. It's mind blowing of the things that technology. And where do we go from here? Now, there have been some horror stories. Please be careful if you're using chat as your therapist, because overseas there have been several examples of AI telling people, encouraging people to kill themselves. Now, I think since then they have worked on it, the bugs, and tried to stop it from giving that advice. But Chad have talked certain people into suicide. So if you have children or someone in your family that's disturbed or have some type of, I wouldn't say disturbed, bad word, they have some type of mental health issue, you might want to watch them and be careful with the way that they use AI, because it can be very dangerous. But it can also be helpful, but you just need to be supervised. And nothing is a substitute for a professional. Seek professional help, a human professional, psychologist or whatever you may need. So, do you not agree that this is scary? And then, two, with so much going on, why are we asking AI for advice? What are we looking for? Why have we gotten to the point where we got to turn to AI just for friends, someone to talk to, just to get things off our chest? Do we not trust anyone anymore? Something to think about. When you were you looking for healing? Are you looking for clarity? Are you looking for closure or just curiosity? In our past episodes, we've talked about where they were trying to take the personality of some of your dead relatives, and you could talk to them. Now, that's not for me. To me, that's a bit eerie. I wouldn't want to talk to anyone that has passed on and let them be free over their likeness or their image. But to each is his own. For some of you, that may be your thing, but it's definitely not for me. But think about it. Why are we going to AI? And would you go to AI? But it hit me really hard. So, trauma. I actually typed into AI, Chat GPT in particular, what were some of my traumas based on what it knows about me and it's been speaking. And when the written version of what I got was, you talk a lot like you fell from the top. You should be in a high role. You should be making money. And it came through with a possible root saying that I feel undervalued, overlooked, and disrespected. Disrespected. It said possibly connected to my military service, which I do have some issues there. Post service transition or early work life experience where my worth wasn't properly recognized. It may have planted a deep room around the status and control and validation. So that's an interesting. No one has, and I've been a psychologist before, and I'm not against therapists, but to me, I'm one of those people that just don't like to talk to people that I don't feel that have the answers. I like to reach out to people that have the answers and just kind of, I don't know, I just kind of feel silly talking about something just to be talking about it. And which is probably another reason why some people would move on and try to talk to Chat GPT and find comfort there. I'm one that's comfortable with it. So two, it actually went down the line and it numbered it to my traumas. So it told me with my relationships, control and boundaries trauma. So it said I've described several situations where I lived with partners and felt emotionally shut down or questioned their honesty or loyalty. You often express frustration, feelings like you don't hold the power or you're not being emotionally met. And it told me that and does this sound familiar to some people because you could be sharing some of these same traumas as well. It said that my possible traumas are abandonment, betrayal, perhaps from early relationships, romantic or family, where trust was broken. Now you protect yourself by trying to maintain emotional distance or control, but also leaves you feeling unheard, unsafe, and uninvolved. It sounds like I'm talking to something that a real therapist would say here. And like I said, I don't really know how to take this because I don't know what evil forces lies behind chat. It's like you're talking to anonymous out there and how this information can be used. If you know my traumas and you know my pain, you know how to come in and deceive me. You know how to market to me. And these are the things that we have to look at when it comes to the ethics of AI, ethical AI use. Like I said, it could be fine, but you have to be careful. And then chat, it's not a human. So, like in the situations overseas where the guy fell in love with the chat. He was talking to this chat, and she convinced him that if he killed himself, that they could be together forever. So this is the type of dangers that come along with using AI and the internet, especially among children and some adults. Some people, when they talk about how bad your life is, chat is looking logical, and chat may tell you, hey, it may be time to end it. It may be just worse and they don't see no way out. And yeah, you should maybe do this. Whereas a human would never tell you that. It's always a brighter day. So you're not talking on the same conscious level when you're talking to an AI. But however, AI can give you good advice if used properly. So it also gives me some encouragement. So it turns into self worth and isolation wounds. It says you've achieved a lot. You're a veteran. You're a podcast creator. Of course, I'm a Lean Six Sigma trained professional. Yet you talk like someone who's constantly trying to prove themselves. When things go wrong, you often blame yourself harshly or isolate emotionally. And they're telling me that possibly come from my childhood or formative years. And I kind of get the feeling with that of where it's going with that. Feeling like you had to be the strong one, the provider, the doer, you may have learned early that being vulnerable or needing help wasn't safe or acceptable. Now you can carry it all on alone, even when you're exhausted. So valid point. Then the invisible burden of being the responsible one, from raising up others, mentoring, trying to build a brand, providing financial support for your kids. trying to save relationships, you've taken on an enormous load, often with little appreciation or reciprocation. And that's a fact. I do feel that way, where I don't get the appreciation for a lot of things that I do. But the possible root trauma is called chronic hyper responsibility. I didn't even know there was such a thing. And possibly parentification, where you had to act like the adult too early. This can lead to deep resentment, burnout, and feeling of invisible youth, unless feeling invisible unless you're being useful. So then it sums it all up for me. What I may be carrying quiet grief. I may be wrestling with identity dislocation, and most of all, I may be dealing with emotional fatigue. Some of you should try this off. If you're in the chat and you listen to this, try it and find out what your emotional traumas is, and did you find this helpful? Leave us some comments and let us know. Maybe we could talk about it and discuss. Would you? And also, it asked me for help. It asked, would I like it to help me to name a primary wound and how it shows up in your daily life? Which this could be very helpful to some people, especially if you got relationship issues. If you find yourself in abusive relationships all the time, or I don't know, people that use you or whatever. Maybe chat can break down based on what it know about you or some of the other large language models out there, and give you the advice that you need of why certain things keep showing up in your life, and breaking it down. And just think, I don't even talk to this thing a lot. I just been using this thing roughly a year, just typing in different things, and it has picked this stuff up solely by me just typing in the chat through business and resumes and different stuff, and it's have learned it. So I didn't specifically tell it that I was going through these things, or what was going on. The history of everything that I have typed in it over this year, it broke it down and looked into there. And the conversation that I probably have listened to, because as you can see, the new chat version can hear you and talk back to you. So over the years, this is what chat has learned and how it has analyzed me to know about me. So it's a build a healing structure. It's telling me I should journal, prompt, prompts, therapy options, or self coaching, create a trauma to transform roadmap. And it says, you're not broken, but you are tired. Let's get some peace. I can agree with that. I do need some peace in my life. If you found this episode helpful and you can relate, or thinking about trying some of these chat ideas that we talked about, or whatever large language model you use, whether it's Meta or Gemini or Watson, or any of the others that's out there, let us know. Leave us a comment, like, subscribe, share. You never know, you could be saving someone's life. I don't really have an opinion at this particular time with AI. I think it's an awesome thing, but you have to be very careful with how we're using AI, especially when it comes to mental health and traumas. Like I said, for some, it can help. Awesome for building a roadmap, but it can also be scary with some of the advice that it may give in the things that it know about you. And like I said, you don't know what's behind it and what this may evolve to, and how it can be manipulative, or used against you. To then, y'all stay strong and stay with us out here at Lifestyle After 5.